Okay, cool. Now I'll go live now. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. Let's start. Welcome anyone that's tuning in today for our webinar on nature pedagogy. Today we're going to be hosting a conversation between Matteo Sturlisi and Roxanne Hoedemakers. And it will be a conversation exploring the idea of learning in nature. My name is Ellen. I work at Quest. Quest is the organization that is bringing this session to you today. So before we get started and we get the conversation going, I'd like to give you a really quick presentation of Quest for those who have never heard of the organization before. So introducing Quest, this is the Quest team. Quest is a European network based in Brussels. And what we do is we aim at connecting different educational change makers across Europe and beyond in the aim to really promote progressive pedagogies. So as a network, we practice we put into practice alternative pedagogies. We conduct research on them. We bring visibility to them. So quickly, as I've already mentioned who we are, we're a network bridging different organizations, institutions, or schools that all are working on different progressive pedagogies. Our general aim is to really bring the needed educational innovation to improve educational systems for the better. So we have a very holistic approach to this, as we have multiple areas of work, such as democratic education, inclusive education, sustainability in education, and more. And the webinar that you're following today is really within the framework of this idea of how to bring sustainability into education. As a network, we have different actions within these areas of work, such as networking with our members, because as I mentioned, we're a network, so we have different members, and we really seek to connect them. We conduct research, we advocate for progressive pedagogies at an EU level. We promote these, and we put them into practice in different projects. as I'd already mentioned. So today's webinar really falls in the idea of, or it really falls within the framework of sustainability and outdoor education. And we've already had some outputs this year within that theme. So we already had a member forum, which is like a recurring event on a specific topic in September, which was also on sustainability and nature, similar to this event. We've also done some research. So we had the DEN report coming out earlier this year, which is a report that explores the mutual benefit of outdoor learning and democratic education. And then last week, we also published our position paper on outdoor education. So really, it's a document that you can consult if you're willing to learn more about our vision or our demands in terms of integrating more outdoor activities in the mainstream curricula. So yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm gonna hand over the floor to Roxane and Matteo, who will continue this session with their conversation. So Matteo, you can share your screen now.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. I hope that everybody can see the picture. Is it okay? Roxanne, yes.
Yes, so we have this picture as a background and some more to follow. I'm Roxane. I'm working at Quest also, and I'll be having this conversation with Matteo today on nature pedagogy. Maybe we can just quickly present ourselves. So I will first present myself. So I work at Quest. I work on the events. And I've also been a former teacher at BOS, the Brussels outdoor school, a democratic school, where I was one of the teachers, also going a lot outside with the children. So I'm really happy to be having this conversation with Matteo, who is also a teacher in a school in Italy. So maybe Matteo, you can just briefly present yourself, who you are, where you work, what's a bit your background, so
Yes.
that people have an idea.
Thank you, Roxanne. Yes, I'm Matteo Sturlese, and yes, I'm working in Albero della Tuscia. It is a democratic school in nature, located in Lazio, in Tuscia. It's called the region. It's in more or less 1.5 hours northeast from Rome, near Bolsena Lake, in a very beautiful area. We are inside a natural reserve. This is the same that you can see in the picture, and it's called Selva del Lamone. It's like more or less 2,000 hectares of woods, and I feel very lucky to have this opportunity to share what has been my experience there, and to be able to continue this experience while I'm still working there. And I participate to the DEN research, to the project of Erasmus Plus that we made together with Quest in the past 2 years. And it was about democratic education in nature, and it was really beautiful to have this opportunity. And so here I am. I think we can start. Very curious about what will come out.
Yeah, so I have prepared some questions that we will just go over, and then you can tell a bit about your experience at the school. So to be sure, and you're a teacher with the children from the school, right?
Yes. In the school, there are children from 3 years old to 14 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just start with the first question. So this webinar is about nature pedagogy. Maybe not everyone knows exactly what it is. Can you maybe describe what you understand with nature pedagogy?
Yes, I can try. And I would like to start with the first wrong answer. That is, I don't know exactly what it is. I know there are many different kinds right now, and still I think it's missing one complete definition about nature pedagogy. What I've seen around it is like one kind of nature pedagogy that is environmental pedagogy. It is more or less bringing environmental education. It is bringing awareness to children and to students in general about the importance of the environment, of the ecology, and of this process. This can be done in nature or even in urban setting. So in normal classroom, we can start with this teaching without the need of being in nature. We will see later, I mean, how staying directly in nature can implement this part. This is one part that is called environmental education, has been theoretized. I mean, has been talked about and defined. Another kind is the outdoor education, that is more or less kind of standard education, classical education, just brought it outside. So where children are able to stay outside in some park or in some natural environment with the and try to fulfill the program of state schools. Then there is another kind of project that are like called forest school. Usually they're very popular in Germany, and they have a very specific curriculum for that. And so there is a clear preparation. There is like a study plan to be able to teach there, and it's very focused. It's more focused than others in survival skill. So you stay in the forest, you stay in wild environment, and developing your ability to survive in that environment. So how to lit on a fire like without a lighter, or learn how to survive, how to build things inside, and that is one focus. And then what is coming now, I mean, what we were like working on studying, analyzing was then, so the democratic education in nature is another approach again, that is bridging together democratic education approach and education in nature. So how these two meet together and how we can have a better application of democratic education inside the natural setting.
Okay, and the school you're working in, where would you place it?
So I think we are trying to
mix.
a democratic education, the democratic school in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process it's a work in progress. It's not like it's something that is this is our aim, it's our dream, and we try to do it as much as we can. Obviously there are even some part of outdoor learning, so there is like some for a part of the day we follow the program, like for mathematics, for Italian, and for English, for the main subject we follow the program, and we do it in open air, in outdoor. So I will say in between these two.
Yeah. Okay. And if you could describe a day at your school, or a day in a nature school, how does a day look like?
Okay, so I will try to describe my school first, and then maybe I can talk about some other schools that I visited and I learned. And usually when we reach in the morning, we start school at 9, and the first that reach usually turn on the fires, because we have a heating system that is with fire. So as like teachers and the students itself, especially the eldest one, we turn on the fire so that the environment can be warmer when then we start the lesson. And then after that, when everybody arrived, then we gather in a circle. We make a circle all together with all the children and the teachers, and where we talk about what are the updates for the days, or if there are like some news that we have to share with the children, if there had been some problem, like, and some conflict that weren't solved in the past days, or some activity that we would like to do, or whatever it comes up, we bring it out in the circle in the morning, and this goes till more or less 9:30, quarter to 10. So it depends from day to day. It can be 15 minutes, can be half an hour circle, and where all the children can share and can talk about what they feel about the day. If they have some sharing, like a particular dream that came up during the night that they want to share, or something that is exciting them, and they can share it. And usually, sometimes this is not always, but sometimes we have a game that we make all together for creating group, for creating like a group spirit of for the group spirit. Then after that, we have the first hour that is always like I will say, regular lesson, as more as we could. So it can be mathematics or Italian or English. And we divide the children more or less about the age. We are very wide range of students. So it goes from 3 years old to 14, as I was saying before. So we cannot properly divide the children for exact age. And we are really happy about that for them. But sometimes this can be even a challenge, because if you have to follow like the program, like the ministry program, can be more difficult if you have children of different ages or different level of understanding and of knowing about something. And this goes more or less till 11. Then at 11 we have a break, and then after that we start with we call it, even that it's a little different word, but the translation is the same in English, always circles, that are like circles of interest. So like it's chosen at the beginning of the year between the student and the teachers. We make a program for that will go on for all the year. We revise it only once in the middle. We are going to do it in the next 2 weeks. And where are like the activity that the children choose that they want to bring on during the year. So our duty at that point is to provide them with the information, with the skills that they need for improving in this thing that they want to learn, and be careful that they continue to follow what they choose, so that they don't give up. So if you make a choice, it's not that the choice can change anytime. You have the time to choose, you have the time to think about it, but then once you choose it, you have to carry it on.
And are there then subjects related to learning about environment or ecological processes, or?
Not exactly, not directly. I think it goes always like through the subject, but there is not like one lesson that is environmental consciousness, for example.
Okay.
Like some example can be, there is like one circles of theater, there is one circle of reading, there is another one of like I say like of handcraft, and so on.
Okay, and do you have examples of other nature schools? For example, the activities that are done when being outdoors.
Yes. Yes, we have been to Tenerife like in the last year, more or less 1 year and a half ago, and there was a school that now it's closed, but was on when we went there. It's called Playa Escuela. It's the same school that we made the project then together, and they have a different a different structure, even dependent on the different environment. What I saw is that it changes a lot with the environment that is around you. They have the beach, obviously, very near, and they divided more or less the school in 2 groups. So there was one group, especially the youngest, the smallest children, so from more or less from 3 to 6, 7, 8 years old, that every morning they went to the beach, and there they were making their activity. So it was really, really open and to whatever come up in the moment. They were talking a lot, and we have seen about many example of micro learning activities. So many little things that can come up in the moment in the beach, and they go deeper inside of that. So they have a very vast knowledge about all the lives that was coming in from the sea, from all the shells, all the different crab, all the different animals that live there. And the other group, the older one, they were staying in this, they call it finca, so in this like of more or less farm where they had the school, and was more driven by the student themselves with the program that they were fulfilling. And even that came for their choice. I mean, they were like, after a while of going to the beach every morning, they got a bit bored about that, and they preferred to stay in a place that they would consider like their home, more or less, and where they can focus on the activity. This is one example. Another one is the wonderful school in Estonia, Leiutajate Kulakol, it's called. And it's I think the name and the translation is the School of the Inventors, the School of the City of the Inventors, I think it's all the name. And it's wonderful school. It's a very big building, very big house, and all inside the house they have wonderful decoration and wonderful decoration made by the children. A lot of opportunity to create a huge library. They have a theater room. They had like many manufacture made by the children, like little village represented inside. And this was coming obviously because they couldn't go out for long part of the year. They're in Estonia, so for like all the winters, the daylight is only 2-3 hours. It's very cold, and so the activity outside were not so much. So then they had to bring it back inside. On the outside, on the other side, they were doing a lot of activity like of movement. They were like, they had much more activity of like to warm it up. So they have many bicycle to travel around. They have like some many construction they were making outside. And we have seen a difference from our school. They were making a lot of handcraft to sell it to the market. So they were traveling once a week, I think, to the market of the nearest city. So they travel more or less all Estonia. It is not that big, and they were selling their handcraft to the market, till reaching the point to pay for themselves a travel to India. So they collect all the money that was necessary for paying the tickets for the children to travel to India. And so there again, they have another example on the opportunity of exploring nature much far away from their hometown. But obviously this was coming because they had a lot of time to spend inside, and so they had to find something to do in that moment, and they use it to create object, create art craft, and was really inspiring and really beautiful school that I recommend to everybody to go to visit. They're really welcoming, very nice people, and very beautiful project.
In Estonia was this project?
In Estonia, yes.
Yeah.
In Tallinn, I mean 2 hours from Tallinn.
Yeah.
More or less.
So what I observed when I was working at BOS is, so we gathered always also in a circle with in the morning, in the evening, and it was, I think in one year we were 5 times inside because the weather was, well, it was too cold or too rainy, but so we always did this outside. And what I really liked about that moment is that whenever there was a bird or a plant or something happening that they didn't know, their attention would shift to that. And I mean, there are sudden moments that you don't expect. And then all the attention goes to there, and it was always a very nice moment. And I could really feel the children being super interested and inspired in like always the same birds that came to visit us, for example. Do you see this also in what do you observe when children are in nature? Is there like, is there a behavior you could point out? Do they yeah?
Yes, I think like the first thing that everyone notice when you see children in nature is their fascination that they have for like the smallest thing. Can be like a bird, but it can be even a bug, or can be like a plant that is a bit different, or a flower. And from that you can really create. I mean, you have to be very present in that moment and really even present and even have like some knowledge about that, and to jump on that opportunity and to follow their interest in that moment, because from there you can really open a door that they can really go deeper inside them and remember much more things, because there is nothing like the direct contact. Like, for example, I tried to study for a while like some medicinal plants in a book, and it was completely impossible, like very difficult to remember. And just when going outside once or twice with the person that knows the herbs, and it's so much like remaining in the mind, and you are much more sure once you go again to collect that herb that is exactly that, because there is a process of like integration of that, like of direct contact. And I think, yeah, the fascination is the basic for the desire to learn. I mean, when we get fascinated by something, then we want to know from where it comes from. And this is for sure the first thing that is really inspiring, even for me, and then I've seen from many other adults, to see how children get fascinated, and to see how much beauty we have around, and mystery. And then another thing, the second thing I think, is the fact that I feel like the children feel a bit naturally at home when they are like in a natural environment. It's not like they, even if they are alone, and sometimes there are some children need some time to stay alone. They don't want, like, they have like some difficulties in socializing with others. And I've seen like how nature really helps them to stay alone but don't feel lonely. So they can be apart from the other of the group, but they always feel like that there is life around them. It's not like some close environment.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly. And there are obviously more benefits about spending time in nature, learning in nature. Like, for example, this stress relief, stress goes down. For example, do you see other benefits of spending a lot of time outdoors with children?
yes, I mean, I found many, apart from stress, that is obviously it's connected with many other things. And I've seen much more creativity, usually much less conflict in general, and because they have more space. Another thing that I observed, that they always tend to take all the space that they have available. So they really, if they have like I don't know, we have a lot of space around us, and they really move. They don't stay all together in one space. They maybe divide in little groups, and then one goes one way, one another, but without getting lost. I mean, at least in 3 years that I'm working there, I never see anyone. They know till where they can go without even like that we need to control them. But they take the space, and this space, I think, helps to don't get in conflict one another, and obviously is with the reduction of stress. And I've seen a lot of improvement in movement and agility. I got even envious about them, because there was much more like um, able of me, like of climbing on trees, or like of doing many things that really practice during the day, that obviously stay in a closed room, it doesn't allow that. And we know that movement is kind of, it's very healthy, it's medicine. Even having enough movement, this obviously gives this opportunity. uh, and yes, and about creativity, they invent games instead. Like, usually when you are inside the game that you have, especially for like in our school is for kindergarten, that we have games. After that, in the schools normally there are not any more games. We pass from primary school, we don't have games inside. No, we have books. But even with the games, usually the game, you have one way to use it. It's not that you have like many other ways. I mean, there is one way that you use that, and not something you can create. instead, I observe like staying outside, they invent like little object, little stick or stone. They become something. They transform it, and their creativity can play with that and can grow and can develop. And then they cooperate. They don't enter in competition for that game, because probably in a closed environment there is like one game of one kind, and so if I want it and you want it, then we start to get in conflict. But if everything can be a game, everything can be transformed in something funny and enjoyable, so they tend to get less in conflict. And I observe like, yes, this happening, and how even like what we we're talking about before, fascination helps in that, in not getting in conflict. How children like get, sometimes they got stuck in like in a conflict that they don't want to move. But if they have something else, like some other space to go or some other object that attracted their attention, they forget about that conflict. And then you can talk about it and see like where it came from, like why you react like that, why you're being so aggressive to that, but in a more calm like mood. Like for example, like one bug can be known, and then you start to get interested in the bug, and all the rest goes away, even the fear, the conflict, etc.
Yeah. In your school, for example, do you spend how many hours per day do kids spend outside, or can they choose freely when they're inside or outside?
I mean, I will say they can choose freely when they are inside, outside. We have noticed that they tend to stay with their friends, so it's about more or less like if the group is inside, they want to stay inside. It's not something we always try to make clear that they can move freely. If they don't want to participate, they can do it. And obviously, it's a process, even that, especially coming from like we have some students that come from like more or less they're already 11 or 12 years old, and they came from like a state school, and when you tell them, okay, you don't have to do it, you can go out, sometimes they don't really go out, because even that for them is very strange, but they stay inside and they're not really interested in what they're doing. It's much more a slow process to take responsibility. Okay, I want to learn this, so I have to focus. But for saying like timing about how much time they stay outside, I would say at least 3-4 hours per day. They have a lot of time, because there are like all the break that we have, and we have two breaks during the day, one at 11, and there is like the, yeah, I don't know how to say in English, but yeah, we eat like an apple or like a piece of bread at a snack at 11, and then for lunch, and after lunch they have more or less, it depends how early we eat, but usually, yeah, we start again at 2:30 and we eat at 1. So depending on how much time it takes to eat, then they have almost 1 hour to stay outside. Uh, yeah, they have to wash their dishes when they eat, and part of the responsibility for that, we have to clean because we cook ourselves. We don't have like enough budget to pay like someone to cook for us, or like someone, so we have to clean all the other dishes, all the pot, all the pan, and then so it takes a bit of time, and they're free to stay outside in that timing. And we have noticed that most of the time they choose to stay outside. I mean, sometimes, yeah, sometimes they go inside if they want to stay to play some game inside, and can happen. But usually they prefer to stay outside. They feel like they have more space, and maybe they felt the benefits, the health benefits that they receive.
Yeah, I noticed the same. Even when it would rain, because everyone would have these rain clothes, and even when it would rain, most of the kids would prefer to stay outside and go move and run and play and observe things. And I have another question for you.
Can I add one thing about this, what you were saying? Yeah, that I noticed too, that like they have resilience to cold, that is incredible, respect to us, to me. I mean, like I've seen like children being so warm, and because they move a lot and they like produce a lot of heat, and I'm cold, and I'm maybe with 2 jackets, and they're just like with one little sweater and still feeling hot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I also maybe want to add something that you were saying before about the climbing, for example, that they can climb better, or they're stronger. I also like, together with the resistance to the cold, I also find that they had more confidence in the abilities of their body, because they could climb in a tree, but also know how to come out. And sometimes as an adult you would see uh, a child climbing somewhere, and you would think like, wow, how will you get out? But they could, because they know like the steps they had to take. They also exercise for it. So I had the feeling they were much more confident about it, jumping and climbing and being outside, using their body, than, for example, how I grew up, because I wasn't in a nature school. So that's really nice to see with the children. But so for my next question, I'm curious, what's your experience in it? The connection between being outdoors and having the connection to the environment. So do you see this relation between outdoor education and environmental awareness? Do you think it grows when you have kids that are a lot outside, that they're also more aware of of the processes, or of the earths, of how to make a difference in it, for example?
Yes, I would say definitely yes about that. And obviously there are some exceptions. Like I think for every rule there are some exceptions. But I think in general, yes, they tend to connect better and to become more aware of what they have around, and even like of the gift that comes from not not from nature, I would say, like even from human intelligence, no, like for example the gift of electricity. If you find yourself that one day is missing electricity, you really realize how important is that, you know. And sometimes can happen when you have like some project is outside from cities, like can happen that you have some difficulties on that, and you start really to realize how important is that, and to connect with like that that is used, not like is used but not abused, even that. And I have some examples. I can share some example about like how I see it, like really children like taking care about nature around them and strongly, and then there are like even a lot of like studies that are starting to point out that, and like how much spending time outside brings an environmental consciousness to grow, to develop. And what I felt in general is like you start to feel nature as like a part of you, and not something, or better, you part of nature's better than something divided from you, no? So like this is me, and outside there is nature. So you start to feel like that it's it's one, it's not like so much divided, and you start to feel it, to live it even without thinking about it. I think no one of the children that I'm working with has never done a thought like this, and never thought like I'm one with nature. But then the way they act in that way, like it's much more for that. We had a little conflict like last week. It was really cute in a way, and really funny even for a while. There was a group of like students that were like more or less from 12 to 10 years old, 10, 12 boys, and they were like uh, annoying. They were fun in that moment, was annoyed a group of girls. I mean, sometimes they play for that, you know, they play to be a bit annoying, and to try to provoke the other person, and and they found like that. But I think for mistakes it happened at first, they destroy while playing a plant. And I realized that one of these girls was really upset about it, was really upset that this plant that was, we are in the middle of the forest. So as you can see from this picture, there are a lot of plants. It's not like something that you say it's the only plant that you can see. It's full of plants, and obviously happens many times that you break a branch or whatever. But this was made in a way that was direct, was like something that they were doing like in really like not a kind way, but on purpose. They were destroying it on purpose. And this girl was really upset and really angry for that, and really took it personal. It was like they hurted her. I mean, they were not doing anything to her, but she felt like, you are hurting me. I mean, I don't want you to do it. And then they got a big conflict, and then we had a moment of like a conflict resolution, and she didn't want to talk anymore, especially with one of these, because it was more her friend. And so it was like with the other, I don't like, I lost my hope, more or less. I lost my hope to have like that they can understand me, but you are my friend, and I want you to understand that it's not fine that you break this plant. And so she was really upset, and we were making like theater lesson at moment, and she was like, no, I don't want to act with him. And I was like, what, why? I mean, he has always been your friend, and now, and then she started to explain me the situation. So we took a moment, only me with them two, to talk about it. And and it was very interesting, because we have seen that she was really upset against him, and she was starting to act like not nice towards him, obviously, not to make him feel like what she was feeling. And he was like, but it was just a plant, we have millions of plants here, no? And obviously I think both they have their own point. I mean, he was saying, yeah, but I just break a plant, or like so many. And he said, yeah, but you did it on purpose. And then the interesting part, I've seen that what we have found together was like that, even if there was like some aggressivity against nature, we cannot fight it becoming aggressive against humans. So like, and she understood it. She was like, and he understood at the same time, that obviously she was feeling that she was feeling hurted by his action, but this doesn't like allow her to hurt him, because she didn't do it. And it was really beautiful. It's always beautiful when we reach a point of conflict solution, when everybody just share what they were feeling, and then just like that, without need of anything else, they like say, okay, I'm sorry, and they hug, and it was like a growth of awareness in both of the sides. So and and I really liked it. I mean, it was really last week to see how like she was really feeling part of her the nature, so like being one with the nature, and the same time with with the with her friends, and for him the same, no?
Mhm.
And this was one little example that we found. Another one, like very simple, is that usually when we go in a walk in the, that maybe I can show, because I forgot to show the pictures, maybe I can show some of them. Like we go sometimes in the walks with the children in the woods, and they often they want to carry some plastic bags to collect like all the rubbish that they found in the path, and it's something that is coming from them. We didn't force them to do it. Sometimes, yeah, we try to say like to promote it, so we invite them to do it, but it, it works only when it comes from them. Otherwise we feel that it doesn't. And yes, and these are some examples that I came to my mind like now about that.
Mhm. Thank you. Do you at the same time still have some pictures maybe to show?
Yes, for sure. And maybe you can start from the beginning. So this is the school where we are right now, and there are 4 huts like this. That is, under is bricks, and up is wood. Inside there is like a fireplace for each one of them to warm them up, and we have some solar panel over there, and so sometimes we stay inside for making lesson, and then outside for making like other activities that can be like more that are not like, usually we stay inside when we are about like making mathematics or Italian or something. They have like to stay seated on a table. That is better for doing that. We stay inside, otherwise we stay outside. And this is one picture. This is, I think, 3 years ago, of one morning circle, so of welcoming when we reach, and of sharing. And then we have another circle that I didn't mention before, that is like the, you said, council. We make once a week, where the children can make, they propose something, they decide together what they want to do. If they have some request, they make some conflict resolution, and usually, yeah, propose. They have like organize, they can organize event, they can, or we try to listen to them, and then to let them decide together, so they can practice democracy since their childhood. And we have another activity that is really beautiful, coming from the Circle Way, inspired by the Circle Way, that is called the appreciation circles. And I really love it. And they make it like every 2 weeks, so 1 week yes and 1 week no. They make this appreciation when like 2 children are chosen. I mean, they offer themselves, and all the rest of the circles appreciate them. So it starts usually, they're saying like what they appreciate about themselves, and then in turn all the circles start to say what they appreciate about them. And we've seen that it's really powerful tool to create like a group, to increase self-esteem, and to create like peace and beautiful like environment, like a beautiful air between them, like a beautiful, much more brought to appreciation and to joy than to criticism and others. This is one thing. These are like some creativity activity. This picture, they're like they are painting. They are very small children. This one, I think, when we made this picture, they were 4 or 5 years old, and they have colors, and obviously here there is not so much risk of making dirty what it is, because it's outside. It's just a wooden table that it's like on the ground, and they can really experiment and play for it, and then they use this painting to decorate environment and stuff. Here is the work that I was saying before, that this year we are not doing it because I don't know, maybe a bit more lazy than last year. Last year, every week we made the walk in the woods, 1 day a week, and to explore all the area around. And there are even many archaeological sites where we live from Etruscan, and so sometimes we try to go even there. But yeah, usually it's just to work, to explore. They organize the map, they create the map before, like they look in the map, what are the path that we can do it, and how much time, if we have time to come back, and so on. There is one day that the electricity went off, and I like this picture because it showed me resilience, and what I was saying before, like the ability to appreciate what you have when you don't. So like something that is completely normal and obvious for us, that is electricity. One day that is missing, then you realize how is the importance, and you can always like find a way to survive and to create and to grow. This is one day of like free handcraft, free art day, more or less. Everyone is doing something different. So there is someone with watercolor, someone else is crafting, someone else is making the teller, so is weaving. Here are like some building some candles, and there are like many activities all together. Lit on candle. This one is the climbing that we were saying, the climbing and the building. Here is the little village that they build in the woods, and we call it Vitalia, and it's project that is from like 4 years, and I think now it's lacking a bit of attention, because it was a project completely self organized by the children, and we didn't want to intervene in that. I mean, to let them free to create it, because they created this kind of little village with the house tree, and every one of them has one house, and they have like some rules, some permission to enter, or some places where they can stay all together. They have one major, they create kind of their money to handle that, and and we didn't really participate to that, but we are seeing now that probably now it's needed a bit of our help, because I think it's something very important about even our role, that obviously we give them the tool and the skill to implement things and to build what they can build, to build what they dream, that is. And here is like it's one day that they went outside. These are like the smaller children, because still last year we were divided into groups. We were like the smallest that goes from 3 to 6, 7 were in one school, and the other ones from 7 to 14 another. These are the smallest. And so one day this was more like free, like without organizing. When they feel like going in a meadow or some area around, they could go and play and do some activity there. And this is Momo and yeah, and another girl from the school. And Momo is the donkey that is like the guardian of the school. Before there was even a Moma, but now Moma is not anymore there. So it's only male and it's alone. But it's really beautiful to see how he interact with the children. And I choose this picture to show how important can be like the interaction with animals and how much healing they can give to children. And we any kind of needs, with very special needs, with normal needs, it's really a company and a kind of communication that goes beyond words and really help them to connect with themselves again and to connect and with others, so to develop empathy and many soft skills that are much more needed. And this is one picture of of one walk that we did, and this is the school. It's the forest where is the school. It's a volcanic area, so all these like came from a volcanic eruption, and this was one day that we were making all inside the forest. And this is another place like 3 hours from where we are, and it's my hometown, by the way. And this is the one day that we make like I say like a trip, and we meet with another school from north of Italy, another democratic school in north of Italy. It's called Nunatak, and was really beautiful to see how children really connect together and how they became friends very easily, like much faster than us adults. So it's like 1 hour and they were already friends and playing. And I really appreciated, even in this picture we can see like when there is not like a building, but it's just nature around, you don't feel anymore that this is mine or this is yours. So this was like an area that both of them were feeling like as a guest, or both of them were feeling at home. So there was not like someone is okay, so this is my place and this is yours, and this really facilitated the connection between them. And obviously because nature is the home for everybody. And it was really beautiful to see the connection between two schools in two different areas, and they create like friendship that are still going on even after just 4 days of staying together. And I hope we can really promote and bring on again this connection between. This was one day again the walk, and when we stopped for eating in a place, and they carry their own food, and usually they share, even if everyone has his own, but then start bargaining for the best piece of food that they can have. And so this was 1 year ago again. And this is a project very beautiful that we made, that is called Agricircolo, we call it. And it's like where children were learning how to cultivate their own food. And they were really passionate in that, and they see all the process of like planting a seed, then making the little plant, and then going on and growing, and then eating it, and then collecting, and they make other project. This was one part of the project, was really cultivating in the land. So they were making some here, and they're cleaning some space, but then they planted their own plants. Then they learn how to make cheese and how to make bread and chocolate and other things. It is another project, and I think that it's really important to come back to this root and to empower them to see that, okay, you can provide your own food. It's not something that you have always to. It's not only in the supermarket, the food. There is one place that it comes from, and it's the land. And here are the picture that I choose. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for explaining about the photos. They're really nice. It looks like a very nice place where the kids go to school. I see we're arriving. We're almost been talking for an hour, but I still have some questions that I would really like to ask. Maybe I can. So, if there are now teachers watching, and but they're, for example, in a state school or in a, I don't know, depending on what school they are, but they're teachers, and could you give them some tips or tricks how they could take children outside of the classroom, yeah, so that the children can experience a bit more of outside or outdoor learning? Do you have something you can give them as a tip?
Yes, I mean, I think I'm not the right person for doing it in general, because I never worked in the state school, so I don't know exactly about the bureaucracy behind it. But yes, I think that first thing, I think just do it is the first step. Like, if you want to do it, just try to do it, and don't like and pass over all the obstacles that you can find, because really the gifts that comes from it are really a lot, and like the benefits for the children are really vast. And I think like even like a little bit can be already a lot, even if we really like bring like only 1 hour a week or something, that can really improve a lot the connection with children. And my suggestion, I think, would be to try to connect with parents and to try to explain to them the importance of children staying in nature and open space. So maybe you can find in that way the authorization for bringing them. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I was thinking making one presentation of like the benefits of nature, and that we can share it, because in the next month probably will be uploaded in the website of the desk project. It's a project that we made for connecting like the democratic schools with the state school, and there is one part exactly on the benefits of nature. So I think maybe even making this presentation that is completely available on the website and for free for all the teachers can be really powerful for giving to parents and even to other teachers, maybe to the mayor of the school, the mayor, not the director of the school.
Director, yeah.
Can be really helpful, because it really shows like how vast are the benefits, from the health to development to social skill to environmental consciousness, are so many. And that has been studied and been shown like statistically to have this empowerment. So maybe making like one meeting at the beginning of the year to try to compromise with the families and with the school to bring them, and can be like even like making one lesson, like one normal lesson, like I was saying before, outdoor learning, making one normal lesson instead of making in the park. When it's sunny day, you go there and you start to breathe all the fresh air, the terpenes from the trees, and that already allows connecting with the earth. There are some other things that are really powerful. That's like walking barefoot is something that seems so far away from our life in the school. Has so much benefit for all the health and stress relief and many things. So maybe to like encourage even that, and not saying no, you will make your feet dirty, because the benefits are so much further than that. Or sunbathing, so staying at the sun sometimes can be really funny. seeing the importance of free play, and not always like giving content, but even free play for developing soft skills for that. And then other tips can be like using the becoming like try to make the teaching more connected to the reality. It's not mandatory that nature is wild nature or forest or whatever. Nature is, I would say, it's everything. It's even human nature. It's very interesting for children to observe, to see, and so to go inside the urban environment, we call it the urban jungle, no? To go inside of that and to see that can be really interesting, and to try to make the connection. So, like I would say, like for geography, there is one part that is physical geography, we call it in Italian. So like to look around on the mountains or the mountains ranges, the lake that you have around, to know the area around you. But there is even political geography. So go and talk with the institution directly, with the authorities, and stay in contact with that, even that it's part of the nature. Or for the skills, I don't know, mathematics, there are so many application possible in like in farming process. One example can be like the olive harvesting. Instead of like I don't know, doing on some multiplication and division on like only abstract, you can make them to connect with like if you have 2 trees of olives and they produce this amount of kilogram, they have one only the 10% will become oil. So how much it is for going at the end? This can be, and if the children go there and see the trees and then see the oil that is produced, it's even shown that in the first years of like developments of from more or less 7 to 14, more or less, they're really much more in practical thinking. They're not so much in abstract thinking as we can be now. And so it's much more, it's much better for them to have this passage, so to go through this practical aspect. Another way can be like calculating the area where you can cultivate, and there you can start with very simple, like with a rectangular area, and then you can go further. You can reach like the how you call it in English, we call it integral in Italian, integral mathematics. Yeah, I mean, you can calculate the area under which kind of curve that you draw. So you can draw a curve inside the ground, and then you put like the x and and epsilon axis, and you calculate the area under that, and it's much more direct, and so they see directly the importance of that. And at the same time, they spend time in nature for that, and they receive all the benefits. So I would say these tips, and there are many, there are a lot like that you can find in many different
Yeah, and even also learning through all of the senses for children is very beneficial, right? Seeing, feeling, smelling, tasting, touching. This all helps to remember things.
Yes, definitely. To connect, create maybe some sensorial like path that there are somewhere that are doing like for improving even that, and bring this connection for them, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think it has been very interesting, this conversation with you. Thank you. Do you have something that you want to add to the conversation? Something that we didn't talk of that is still very interesting for people to know that are watching now?
I don't know, maybe a little think about the role of the teachers, and because I feel really like the importance of grounding back, because we are entering in the informatic age. So like our time is like the informatic, it's more or less all over. All the jobs are connected to that, and we have to learn and to remember like ability to come back and to discharge all this moment where we are connected so much with our mind, and go back to the earth, to the ground. So like even for our health, it's necessary to do that. If you spend all one day in an office or studying, it's very important that we learn on ourselves how to connect, how to come back in a relaxed state, in a state in rhythm with in rhythm with life. So with the slow rhythm. So there is like the grass has no rush to grow, and if you pull it, no, it doesn't grow faster. No, let's say. So to come back to that rhythm, and I think it's very important. It's important that we pass that to the children, and for that I think like really starting from the basic. Yeah, I think it's very important. So learn how to grow your own food, your own clothes, your own building your own house, and yes, and so try to transmit these skills in a safe space. So I think this are the two things that for me are like more important. If safe space, physically safe and emotionally safe, and
Mhm.
and then things
And
will come.
then children are also more able to learn if the
Definitely.
physical space is safe, emotional space is safe. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for this
Thanks to you, Roxanne.
conversation. It was really nice to have you here. So then I think we can close this session. For people who want to know more, feel free to contact us, to contact Quests. If you have more questions, you can find our contacts on the websites. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really did, and so thank you so much, Matteo.
Thanks to you, Roxanne, for this opportunity. It was really, really nice.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
So bye-bye. See you soon. Ciao. So I can simply go out, no?
Yeah, it's fine. It's no longer.
It's not live anymore, right?
No, it's not live anymore.
Okay.
Well done, guys. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to you. It was really beautiful and yeah, really.
Yeah. I'm also excited to because we're coming to Italy with the whole team, Quest team, in April.
Okay, cool.
So it will be
Yes.
very nice to see the place.
Yes, we're trying to do our best to improve it.
Yeah.
And
There was
yes.
only like, oh, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I think you have like some problem with your mic, Roxanne.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're understandable, but when you don't speak for a while and then you start speaking again, it's like the first 5 seconds max, it's not picking up your voice. It's really like,
Oh, shit.
yeah. So maybe something to take into account for next events, like you don't hear the beginning of your sentence when you haven't talked for a while and then you start talking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the first seconds, and then
Yeah.
it gets and then it's understandable. It's like very bit lower.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it happens 2 or 3 times during all the
Okay.
talk.
But it was still, yeah, you got the question, so
Yeah,
Yes.
it was fine. It was
Yeah.
fine.
I know, but it's weird. I will check it.
Okay.
So all the team will come.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's what Martina said that in Italy. When was it? Like the middle of April somewhere?
Yes, I think
16, 17,
yeah,
and then we
something like
might
that.
stay a bit longer.
Yes, of course. I mean, we have space, a lot of space there. Space is what is not missing. Yeah, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think we can leave it here.
Yes.
Is there? Yeah, there's nothing more to do, right? Ellen?
Yeah, Theo, if you want the recording, it's just going to be on the Quest Facebook page. So
Okay.
it will be there now if you ever want to go back or take a look or something. So yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Then maybe show it to my relatives.
Okay.
Okay, and thanks, Ellen, for also for the technical support.
Of course.
Yes. Thank you, Ellen.
Okay, have a good
Okay,
weekend.
bye bye. Have a good
You
evening.
too. Ciao.
Ciao.